और बजट पेश करने के बाद वित्त मंत्री क्या कहते हैं, आइए सुनते हैं।
That he is going to simplify taxation. Now you have come out with a number of schemes. I mean, there's even a Saral form, which is more Kathin form. So you talking about simplification of taxes, you're talking about a wider base. How confident are you of mopping up resources with this?
Let me tell you, 99% of the taxpayers, when they file their returns, they get their assessment orders now. They don't even have to go. It's those complicated cases. Now, to resolve those complications and big cases which bring down investment, what have I done? On transfer pricing, huge liabilities are pending and litigations are pending. So I have issued a set of tarifications which will be incorporated to the law to leave nothing to discretion. Two, local investors who invest in a business will say, if the investment is above a threshold, I have said I'll create an advance ruling authority. So they will, before investing their first rupee, they'll go to the income tax department and say, please tell me in advance what my liability is going to be. So I will plan accordingly and decide to invest or not to invest. So we've gone a step further than what people expected in order to create the confidence of the Indian investor and the international investor in our taxation system.
See, investors की जब बात होती है तो बहुत से investors ऐसे हैं, especially entrepreneurs, जो अपना business सिंगापुर लेके गए हैं, हांगकांग, मॉरिशस, यूके. आपकी कौन सी ऐसी स्कीम है या आपके कौन से ऐसे पॉलिसीज हैं?
टैक्सेशन स्ट्रक्चर्स जो आपके फंड्स वगैरह थे, जो भारतीय लोग हैं लेकिन वहां से ऑपरेट कर रहे हैं क्योंकि वहां ज्यादा आकर्षण था. तो अगर आप बजट का पूरे प्रपोजल, मेरा भाषण पढ़ोगे तो ऐसी योजनाएं भी मैंने दी हैं कि जहां मैं टैक्सेस को रैशनलाइज कर रहा हूं कि वो लोग वापस आ गए और उन्हीं टर्म्स के ऊपर यहां पर इन्वेस्टमेंट ऑपरेट कर सकें.
तो ये तो था अबाउट इंडियन एंटरप्रेन्योर्स जो बाहर जा रहे हैं. अब जो फॉरेन इन्वेस्टर्स हैं, you've created a lot of interest by increasing FDI in defense, in insurance sector. How come FDI in retail was a problem but FDI in defense is fine?
The two are entirely different. Okay. I'll give you the reason.
Ideologically बताइए.
I'll give you ideologically. My ideology is what suits India's interest.
Okay.
In defense, I'm the largest buyer in the world. That's India. And I buy from 100% foreign governments and foreign companies controlled by governments or private interests. So why should I not set up Indian companies with 51% Indian equity, technology and 49% coming from the foreigner? So I can do it. It's in my interest. मेरा foreign exchange भी बचेगा, मेरा डिफेंस इक्विपमेंट यहाँ पैदा होगा, यहाँ जॉब्स क्रिएट होंगे. लेकिन मैं जो रिटेल का माल बेचता हूं भारतीय रिटेल में, कल उसको छोड़कर चाइनीज गुड बेचने के लिए स्ट्रक्चर्ड फॉरेन रिटेल यहां आ जाए तो मेरा तो मैन्युफैक्चरिंग सेक्टर भी नीचे दब जाएगा और मेरे जो रिटेल एस्टैब्लिशमेंट्स भारतीयों के हैं वो बंद होने लग पड़ेंगे. तो इसलिए एफडीआई पे मैंने कहा है इट विल बी सेक्टर स्पेसिफिक. जहां मेरे देश का हित है मैं वहां खोलूंगा.
Fiscal deficit, now that's likely to stay at 4.5% of the GDP. That's
this year.
What they say. Yeah.
It's last year, and for this year it's projected at 4.1. I have also said that it depends on a lot of factors, and I am going to accept this 4.1 figure as a challenge. Why did
you rely on this target which the UPA had put up?
You see, it's not UPA versus NDA, it's a factor of Indian economy. Some people have felt that 4.1% is unrealistic, it's difficult. So I have said, I don't mind trying to reach that very difficult and daunting target, but I don't want to give up that fight.
Okay.
So I lose only when if I decide not to fight. I'll try till the 31st of March this year and try and reach that target.
Some are saying that it's a very ambitious target that you've set, because where is the revenue going to come from? Basically from your tax collection.
No. It's a difficult target to set. Fiscal deficit can be contained in two ways. Either you spend less or you earn more. Now, if you spend less, you contract the economy. Therefore, you have to earn more. Now, all these reforms which I have undertaken, the sole idea is that I must earn more.
That will take time, isn't it? Because you're talking about building roads, building ports, building airports.
No, but once the investment starts coming in and the economy starts picking up, manufacturing sector starts
Manufacturing takes time to...
No, I'm not talking of new industries. We already have a sector in India. We already have a roads program in India. It's just that people were not willing to build roads. because the banks were not funding them. So I have now gone in for a very large, extensive bank reform in this budget.
Yeah. Why did you hesitate in talking about PSUs, disinvestments?
You see, I'll tell you, tactically, I have not put that in my speech. I have said tactically. I have put that in a part of the budget papers. I have fixed a target of approximately 50,000 crores for disinvestment this year.
Okay, in a phased manner, is that what you want to do? Or
No. There's a decision that the UPA government had taken that some PSUs were selected by them which would offload shares into the market. I'm following that practice.
और उसमें ये भी कहा जाता है कि crony capitalism आ जाती है. When the government offloads.
This is an outdated jargon. आप लोगों पे टैक्स लगाते रहिए क्योंकि सरकार ने व्यवस्थाएं चलानी है, व्यवसाय चलाने हैं. ये भी कहां तक जायज है? लेकिन कुछ ऐसे PSUs हैं जो PSUs रहेंगे, लेकिन आवश्यक नहीं कि सरकार के 80% शेयर हो, सरकार के 60 भी हो सकते हैं.
Okay. According to you, what are the biggest internal and external risks to the economy right now? मुझे तो दिखता है failed monsoon या and Iraq crisis. ये जो
you're right in your assessment. These are the two most important challenges.
And how do you plan to deal with that?
Well, I can't resolve the Iraq situation, but we'll certainly have a plan B, backup plan, in case there is inadequate monsoon in the country.
So there is no panic button that you have pressed?
Certainly not, because we have surplus food grain in India, and therefore even if there is inadequate rain somewhere, I think for the present there is no crisis situation. We have an adequate food security.
You know, the government goes on saying that, 40 दिन ही हुए हैं, पर आप कहते हैं कि पैनिक सिचुएशन की जरूरत नहीं है, we have enough food grains, लेकिन जो आम आदमी होता है जब वो मार्केट में जाता है वो ही 100 रुपए से कुछ नहीं खरीद पाता, अब उसके 1000 रुपए लग जाते हैं सब्जी खरीदने के लिए.
ये कोई 40 दिन में तो बड़ा नहीं, लेकिन मैं चाहूंगा कि आप जैसी संस्थाएं भी उसमें एक व्यवस्था लाने में सहायता करें. कारण यह है, इस देश में प्याज 100 रुपए किलो भी बिका है, लेकिन आज अगर 20, 22, 23 रुपए पे है तो पैनिक सिचुएशन नहीं है, जबकि प्याज की अवेलेबिलिटी बहुत है. प्याज की चिंता तब होगी जब दाम और बढ़ते हैं. अभी तो 15 की बजाय 20, 22, क्योंकि मानसून इस मौसम में नवंबर तक प्याज बढ़ता है. ये एक इकोनॉमिक साइकिल है.
ये एक सुझाव ये भी है कि सरकार को, मे बी इन द लॉन्ग टर्म, लेकिन सरकार को ये प्राइस कंट्रोल से हट जाना चाहिए. सब्जियों के दाम, दूध का दाम, इस सब से हट जाना चाहिए. आपको, डू यू एग्री विद दैट?
सरकार प्राइस कंट्रोल में नहीं है, लेकिन जब कीमतें बहुत ज्यादा बढ़ जाती हैं और उसमें कुछ प्रशासनिक कारण होते हैं तो सरकार को उसमें कूदना पड़ता है. होर्डिंग हो गई, या मान लीजिए मैनेजमेंट है कि नासिक और राजस्थान में प्याज पड़ा हुआ है, दिल्ली में नहीं बिक रहा, तो अगर निजी उद्योग नहीं ला रहे तो सरकार को लाना पड़ेगा.
पर जो किसान है वो कहता है कि मैं क्यों ना होल्ड करूं, मैं क्यों ना रखूं अपने पास और बाद में ज्यादा बेचूं. ये शहर वाले हैं जो ज्यादा पैसे नहीं देना चाहते उसी प्याज के.
देखिए, होर्डिंग से किसी की सहायता नहीं होगी, और प्याज एक ऐसी चीज है, आलू एक ऐसी चीज है.
आप सुन रहे थे अरुण जेटली को. रुकेंगे एक छोटे से ब्रेक.